Hi everybody, I am with my guitar maker. Don't know if I claim you, but the man that makes the guitars I play, Michael Ritchie, up at his workshop, and he's currently in the process of building a guitar for the Gallery Guitar competition. And over the years I've always enjoyed asking Michael about all the techniques he uses to build guitars, and he always shares his knowledge so freely, and I thought it'd be interesting for you all to see him do bracing, putting a brace on a guitar. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about what you're doing here. I'm not going to actually glue the braces, because first they have to fit. So there's this bridge bar here, and the braces have to fit over that. And so you've got the top of the guitar sitting there, and this is the inside. This is the soundboard, so obviously the inside of the guitar. Yeah. So this is, on the other side will be the bridge. It'll be about here. Okay. And so this bar I put on, which gives me this nice uniform curve. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there's just a very slight curve. Do it like that. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's a very slight curve, which gives us a bit more strength. Okay. Without adding any weight. Okay. Or very much weight, so to say. So I have to fit these braces. This one's already fitting. And goes there. So that when I come to glue these, it fits nicely over this bridge bar. Okay. So that's the centre fan. There's 7 fans here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we've got 2 diagonals will go here. Oh, so they fan out, hence the name. They fan out across the inside of the guitar. Yeah, like that. And adding strength to the top. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is to position the brace where it's going to go. And then just mark where the bridge bar is. Okay. So I've got the marks in the brace. And then you're just taking that little section out. I'm going to remove that section so it fits. So the braces are obviously fitting over this central bar that you've got across the top. So what's that bar called then? Well, I just call it the bridge bar. Transverse bridge bar, I suppose. Yep. So now we have to remove that. I love seeing you do things in real time. It's happening right now. Alright. Okay, so and this is the first bar that's coming out from that central bar to start the fanning across the top. Wow. We'll come in a bit closer as well, just so you can see how this looks across that central bar. That's not bad for a first go. Yeah. It still has to come down a little bit. You can see this one's fully touching the soundboard. So it's flush with the soundboard. Yeah. Okay. This one's still rising up a little bit, so you can take a bit more. So you'll just take a little bit more off that then. Yeah. And I make the braces a little bit oversized so that if I go too far, I can take something off the brace here to lower it back down, and still have enough brace to work with for what I'm looking for. Yeah. And so does each brace itself will have a slightly different, not just length and dimension, but obviously you'll work it a little bit after the fact, once they're all on and they're all set. Yeah. Well, first of all, I make them into these triangular shapes. Okay. So it's quite a tall triangle, and then once they're glued, I'll carve them and scallop the ends, and feel the top to feel how strong it is. Okay. I want it to be strong enough to take the tension, but I want to get it as weak as I possibly can. Okay. So it's just
gauging that.
So that's a sort of quite hard equilibrium to find.
Yeah.
That you're sort of playing with that tension and that release all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And I've tried lots of different things over the years. You know, I've made the ones on the bass side higher or lower, and the same with the treble. And I've done it that they're higher in the middle and they go lower as they go out.
Yeah.
Played around with it all, but I think actually what's happening is that it becomes one structure, you know. So I think there's not much to be gained by if these are higher and these are lower.
Yeah.
So I probably now make the centre ones a little bit higher and the outer ones a little bit lower, and that gives the strength where
strength's needed. Yeah.
So how's that looking?
Yeah,
almost there, and I've gone a little bit too far, I think.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll just take a bit off. There's that. This is all very old European spruce.
Yeah.
I'm using.
So the braces are also spruce.
Yeah, European spruce.
Yeah. So the top of this guitar is cedar, and you're bracing it with spruce.
Yeah.
And is there any?
Well, I think the spruce is what we want to use as a brace wood. You know, it's light and strong.
Light and strong. Yep.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't brace cedar on cedar, I guess, as well.
I think some do. I don't really like cedar as a brace wood, if I'm honest. I think it's just.
Is that just how it is to work with, or is that to do with the sound, or to do with?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a personal taste, personal preference.
Well, I think. Well, spruce is tried and tested. I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right. So a little bit more.
So for this final one, I think I'm going to come in a little bit closer so you can see when Michael's putting the brace on the face of the guitar, or the inside of the face of the guitar, let's say, what it looks like. So I'm going to get a little bit closer now so you can see that. So you can see Michael is just still tinkering away with the wood, and it's constantly having just a little bit more taken off, or just to get it absolutely perfect. And this is what's been nice about being here for a while with you in your workshop, is you're constantly, everything gets done in real time, everything's happening, it's always moving, the wood's always having something done to it. How long would this whole process of fitting all of these fan braces take?
2 or 3 hours.
Okay. But you'd be working at that kind of level of intensity with each brace.
Yeah, and that is a job that I maybe step away from and come back to and double check. And once I've got all the braces at this stage, I then I get a little piece of thin paper and use that to check that it's trapping the paper, so I know that the fit's good, and I can use a little bit of chalk to see that it's touching. These little tricks just to double check that everything's fitting nicely here.
Fantastic.
And then I would set it up ready to clamp the braces and glue.
And you're enjoying being up here now in the Highlands in this space. Now you've got the whole workshop up and
running. Well, that's what I was saying to you earlier. I can just step out the door and into the workshop, which is great.
Yeah. Bring your breakfast down with you.
Well, I come down with coffee and
just work.
Well, there's pros and cons, but I think it suits us as a family. There's a lot of pros to it. And I love the thing I love about this part of the world is the humidity and the light.
Yeah, the light's
incredible. The light is just great. The open skies, and people say, with the weather and it must be really different from Spain, but in some ways it's not so different from Spain. The light reminds me of Spain in some ways on some days, and I think the humidity is a lot more stable than it was in Spain. So these things really suit guitar making.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an incredible space, and it's amazing. Just like I'm very lucky to be able to come and see how it's all getting put together and how it's all done. It's fantastic. Yeah. And after fan bracing, what do you move on to after that?
Well, when the fan braces are all fitting, I glue them. I glue them in a stage of 4 and then 3. I don't do all 7 at the one time. It's just a little bit cramped in there to clamp the braces in place. And then they get carved. Once all 7 are on, they're carved. The ends are scalloped. That's just to weaken the end so it doesn't pop off, because it could easily, if the guitar gets a knock, that could just pop off.
Yeah, of course.
So
actually, that scalloping it's not just an aesthetic. It actually
the scalloping is to make it more pliable at the end, so it's got it can move with the changes that the guitar and the conditions the guitar is put through. So that's the logic behind that. And then these last 2 diagonal bars go on, and this last harmonic bar, which is another bar like that here, and not quite as high.
Not quite as tall. Yeah. Okay.
And then that's it, ready to go back into the mould, and the sides go on, etc., etc.
Amazing.
And everything glued.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for another great insight into what you get up to here in your workshop in the Highlands.
You're welcome.
And I hope you all enjoyed having a little bit of an insight into Michael fitting and getting ready for gluing these braces, these fan braces.
Yeah.
See you soon.